Good morning. Today I would like to talk about a track cleaning wagon. It's the black one in the foreground and it's a Sharge or Sharge wagon that I bought some months ago, last year in actual fact, and didn't get around to running much because I wasn't here for quite some months last year. And when I did, I found a couple of problems with it. This is not to say it's not a good unit. It's much cheaper than the other ones of this type. There is one well-known gold coloured one which is desperately expensive, and I had thought about buying one, but it's just too expensive. This one is a lot less and looked like a good deal. When I first started to run this wagon on the layout, I did find that it would derail in odd places. I ran around several different areas of my track and it would derail, and sometimes not in the same place it derailed in before. So I set to adjusting the pad on the bottom up a bit, down a bit, beveled it a bit, and it changed the places where it would derail, but it didn't actually change the problem. It would just, for no apparent reason, derail. In the end, after sort of what turned out to be over an hour fooling around with it and getting track cleaning fluid all over the place, I gave up and put it to one side, because I do have, as you can see in the background there, a cleaning train, as it were, with two red wagons on it. And these are in fact old Juif wagons, French wagons. They're HO scale. They're different sizes, they're not real made, they're very old. But they do in fact function. The front one has a little black cap on it that you can lever up, and with your syringe you can fill it up with the track cleaning fluid of your choice. A little felt pad which is very easy to put on at the bottom, which rubs around and cleans the track quite nicely. The rear one doesn't actually have a filler cap, and it had a funny brake back system where the middle is cracked under the ladder. It would actually open up backwards and hinge the two halves backwards to put weights inside it, I presume, because you can't put fluid in, it would leak. So I put some weights in there and glued it back together. And underneath, since it has got a pad, or a place for a pad, I put some very fine wet and dry. So it follows the other one round. The other one wets the track a bit, and that one sort of finishes it off. And it works reasonably well. The couplings were a problem, so I don't think you can see it if I zoom in a bit. Let's go a bit faster. There, you might be able to see between the wagons they are now Fleischmann couplings, which are very good. They actually grip together and you can push it or pull it. Obviously the coupling on the front at the moment is a hook, which is not very good, but it works anyway. About a week ago I decided to do some running of trains on the layout and possibly making some videos for you guys. So I thought, well, after that time it's going to be dirty and dusty, so I'll run the track cleaning stuff around to clean it up using the class 20 you can see. And while that was happening, I decided to have another look at the Sharge unit. Now, on the internet, on YouTube, I have seen quite a few reviews of this wagon, and everybody who tests them says yes they work, and they do in fact work. But every test that you can see is never on a set of points, a complicated bar, or a curve. They just run them up and down usually with a sound locomotive, which looks very nice, forwards and backwards. Doesn't it work well? This is it, on a straight track. Now the problem is a lot of your track will be straight, but some of it will be inclined or on points or banked like some of mine is, or on curves of different radiuses, or on curves with flexi track. while the track cleaning effort was going on, I found myself looking at the black wagon on the track, and I remembered in one or two of the reviews on the internet there were comments about the bogies not being covered by the chassis. That's to say, the acrylic chassis in the middle, the bridge if you like, between the two bogies, could be a bit longer to cover up the front wheels of the bogies. And so I thought, I haven't got any idea what I'm going to do with the actual problem of cleaning, but I have got a 3D printer. So I decided to do something about it while I was thinking about the other problems. So if we go to the workbench now, I can show you what I've done and what I was doing. And this has been going on for a week now to try and improve this wagon. So here we have the track cleaning wagon, and it's pretty easy to see how it works. 2 brass screws underneath and a spring to hold the plate down. This is quite a stiff spring like this, and it doesn't slide up and down very easy. It will go side to side. It does move a bit, but the spring is quite strong. The spring is quite strong. But anyway, on the other ones that I have, the springs are actually very sloppy on all of the ones, and even the one that I made myself some years ago, which was absolute rubbish, had a spring but not a very strong one, so that the pad could actually adjust a little tiny bit on its own to any irregularity in the track. Obviously on a straight flat track such as that, it's going to work perfectly well, but on my layout, which has banked tracks and points and curves and God knows what, it doesn't. So firstly I thought, what I'll do with the 3D printer is print up a wider base unit here, a wider pad holder, like that. So I made up, this is my prototype, this device here, which is very similar to this. This was too thick in actual fact. I found that that's 12 I think, and that's 10. So I made another one. There's the one there it is, with the beveled edges, same as that. To take the same screws and with a spring in it. But the spring I've chosen there is not only a bigger diameter, it's very soft compared to the other one. So it must be about 1/3 the force, I think, something like that. So I'm hoping that it's going to allow the thing to go up and down a bit and not derail. And here we are. This is my take on the thing, mounted up exactly the same, but the spring is much softer, and so it will adjust to the track. I've also deepened these holes somewhat so that the heads of the bolts don't foul when it does go up a bit. I found this one, if I tried to push it up a bit, it would foul the heads. However, the problem with this of course is that when you try to put the material on the bottom, if you push up too far you can't get it tight, because the heads of the bolts, or set screws as they are, would actually foul it. So you have to, what I've done is either hold it down like this or block it up with bits of plastic or something. It's not a particular problem. Anyway, that runs along quite nicely, and I've also widened it a little bit, not very much, just a little bit, that much. So round, you've just got extra side, and it will go round most of they're very tight curves. No, it won't, but I can do that with track rubber, so it's not a problem. Anyway, that's got rid of the problems, and this does actually now run around, and it's also, I haven't tightened it up yet, it also has some movement, so it can put up with any irregularities on the track without too much problem. And I haven't had any derailing. I have got a little bit of film of it going around with an elastic band holding the material on, and it does clean the track and it does work, and I'll put that in a minute. However, while I was doing this, I was thinking about that thing about the this piece of perspex not being long enough to cover the bogies up, and I thought, well, I've got a 3D printer, I've made the base unit, so why don't I just try and produce a piece which will slide in and can look like it's lengthening that chassis. This is my first test piece, which I did. It just slides in there, and it does actually cover up the nut that's holding the bogie on as well, which is an added plus. And I was quite happy with that, so I thought, well, I'll make some, seriously. And here they are. These are the first ones I made. Painted up with a bit. I thought I'd have some railings on there, maybe a little ladder somewhere in there, and I covered that up like that. Now that was okay, and I ran that round for a while, cleaning the track with the new system. The little encoche, as they say in French, the little nicks out of that actually hold an elastic band on, so I haven't got a system yet like George's system here to hold it on, so I put an elastic band right way around and held the material on with that for the moment. I'll do something later, but nevertheless it works. And then I thought, well, so let's have that over here. Since it's there, it does leave a big gap between the locomotive. I thought, well, it would normally have buffers, wouldn't it, in England? So I thought, if I could get that off there, why don't I make something a bit longer? So I got back into SketchUp and drew this little devil. Hang on, this one, this is my prototype of this thing. Very similar to the other one, which sits on there. And I thought, well, that's alright. That's about the same as that. If I put buffers in here, that would look quite good. So these are just rough, very rough test runs. So far I have made these. Let's put those over there, and there's another one like that. So I now have that. The rails are just bent wire for the moment. I haven't got them right yet. That's bent over, not stuck in yet. Still playing with that. They're not. I should go a bit further. Go there. So I've got that for the moment. I thought of another one across the front, and I don't know. I'm still playing with it, but you get the idea. So that's my track there for a moment, which does go around the track. Obviously it can't be pulled by this one, it's a bit too heavy, but I've tried it, it does work. And so to finish for today, this is where I am at the moment. I've painted a bit, and I'm going to do a lot more to this, I think, in the future. It'll look quite nice, and it works very well now, and I'll be able to use it with my other wagons to clean the track. Thank you for watching. I hope this has been some help to you. If you're thinking of buying one of these, they are good. They're not expensive. Well, they're not cheap either, but they're not too expensive compared with others. And if your track actually is very well laid and all straight and this, that and the other, it'll work straight out of the box. I've had to modify it for my layout, but I've been able to do it fairly easily. So that's it. Bye for now.